All right, we are live. Welcome, Sharp and Tragic J. Hello, how y'all doing?
Yo, 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 yo.
All right, so we tried to have this convo on TikTok, right?
Who's Jay Sharp?
Oh, he was sharing an article with me about like a black owned credit union and how like probably biracial people will be left out of that. So I want him to be part of the conversation.
All right, all right. Jay Sharp, where you from? He gone.
Oh, he left. Why
He
he
gone,
leave?
girl.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
man,
Damn.
so we gonna
Okay.
start. We was on TikTok, right?
Yeah, we were on TikTok trying to have this conversation, and then people try to derail it and talk about some other things that don't got nothing to do with us. So, oh, he's coming back. Okay, here he comes.
Wow, yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Anyway, the live got suspended, y'all. We was trying to talk about biracial people in the workplace. Black people came and just gaslighted us, told us a whole bunch of stuff that had nothing to do with the topic, was trying to fight with us about some other stuff. And I basically was like not having it. I just told them like fuck y'all, blah blah blah. And TikTok banned me for hate speech. So they sensitive, like it don't make sense. Like I'm not allowed to defend myself. Like they can just come up there and talk all this shit to me. And then when I reply, I'm gonna say some shit back. And it's hate speech. But I guess
Yep.
that's how TikTok works. So we on YouTube with
We on YouTube with it.
it.
But yeah,
Fuck TikTok. Fuck
yeah,
TikTok.
fuck them. Honestly,
We
honestly,
on
that's
YouTube.
an opportunity that they want to take away from us because you can make money on TikTok. A lot of people are making a lot of money. That's the opportunity, but it's like they don't even want to let us have an opportunity on TikTok. Like,
Yeah, apparently it ain't for me. TikTok ain't for me. I guess I mean, if I can't say what I want to say, if it's hate speech, I don't give a fuck. It's hate speech. I don't care what you call it. It's freedom of speech. If you ain't promoting freedom of speech, I don't want to be there.
I don't want to be there. Yeah, YouTube is better with that. YouTube is a little better with that. Like, we could say whatever. We're not gonna get the live shut down in the middle of it, so that's good. But yeah, let's talk about our opportunities here. So, how was your experiences and stuff like as the opportunities and so where y'all want to start with it?
We talked about this before, right? In the workplace, like our experience.
Yeah, but
But I think this is a little different. Like the opportunity. What I wanted to know when I asked the question on TikTok. What I wanted to know is, are we getting opportunities in the workplace? Are like what's the
mm,
because we don't know the statistics. And the reason why I wanted to have this on TikTok is because like more biracial people come to the space and they,
yeah,
speak on it. Like you get way more experiences,
right.
more biracial people coming in to speak. And I just want to know, like, are y'all getting opportunities? Because as a biracial person, and I've been alive 30 years, and I've been working for the last 15 years in corporate jobs, and I've never had any opportunities. Like, there's never been a time anybody came to me, and I know my work ethic is good. I know I have, like I'm a quality work because I get compliments for my hard work, and like I get appreciated for hard work. Like, but it's not. I'm not getting promotions. I'm not getting raises. Like, I don't have opportunities. And then you got black people coming saying we got privilege, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like they're giving a misconception that biracial people got privileges, and we're not getting privileges. Like, especially in whites, like, oh, you get it better than us when it's an all white space and biracial people
They're gonna
person.
put white people first. Come on now, let's be for real,
Yeah.
right? Let's be for real about that. Yeah, I have the same experiences. I've been working since I was 17. What opportunities? What nobody's trying to like, what opportunities? And hello Mark, how you doing? But I agree, like there's because if we had a biracial workforce, right, that would be more fair for us, I think, if we had, but I don't know if we're gonna see that in my lifetime, but yeah.
Yeah. I used to work at this one job, and there was a position that opened up, and I didn't even know it opened up. I was working at this company for like 6 months, and there was this white guy. He was only working there for about 3 weeks, and I come in the office, and he's sitting in the office in this new position. And I'm like, he's like, yeah, I work in here now. And I'm like, how'd that happen? He's like, there was a position there, and they just asked me if I wanted to work, and I was just thinking like, how the fuck? I've been here 6 months. How did he just come in here 3 weeks and get this position? So it's like we don't got no privileges. We don't got no opportunities. That's my experience, and I don't. There's no really statistics, so I just rather go straight to the source and ask other biracial people. Like,
The education plays a big part in this too, right? Because a lot of us come from broken homes. We don't come from, a lot of us don't come from money. Some of us do, of course. There's always going to be, but I think the majority of us do not come from
So
money.
then,
So,
what privilege? If the statistics say that black men and white women relationships are not together, that means that our homes are broken
mhm.
statistically. So, and it's known if you have both parents that that is a privilege, right? It's a privilege
Yeah.
if you have both parents. So, if statistically white women and black men are not together after they have children and they're not getting married and they're getting divorces, then statistically we do not have privileges.
Yeah, because okay, I think there's only certain industries where, yeah, like the entertainment industry and the modeling industry. I think you would have privilege in those industries, but most
But
of
you gotta
us,
be part of the 1%. You gotta be
99% of us are not models and we're not entertainers. So we're talking about like the majority of us. Like they try to make like the one
civilized people.
percent
We're
of
talking
us
about
and be
civilians.
like,
Those are not civilians. Those are
exactly,
celebrities.
those are not civilians. Those are entertainers. Those are models. Those, yeah, they try to take that and paint us, oh well, you all got privilege because of your light skin. And it's like that's not the case. Like if you're trying to work in like whatever the food industry, I don't know. I would love to hear about your experiences because Jay Sharp, he was in the military. I would love to hear about your experiences in the military and what all these different industries that regular everyday people do, like construction or whatever regular everyday people are doing. I don't think that nobody's sitting here like, oh well, you're light skinned, so I'm gonna
I
push you
want to talk
above.
about the
Like I
military
don't think that
too.
makes sense.
I want to talk.
Oh,
I
so
want to
you
say
want? Oh yeah, you can go first. I'm about to leave briefly. I'm switching over to my laptop since I'm on my phone. So
Okay, got you.
just give me a few minutes. All right, I'll
Got
be
you.
right back.
Okay, cool.
I want to say something about the military.
Yeah, he
Like,
said, hold on. He said, it's been 15 years. I haven't found no job in my city. When I do, black people hate and white people know I'm too smart to be there. So, yep. What kind of, I wonder what kind of industries you're working in because I want to know where are we working at? Look, me mostly, I've been in the food industry mostly. Like, I was a team lead. I did have an opportunity. I was a team lead. That was the furthest I got. To be honest, I was a shift manager at a little restaurant. And so
what did it
I
take
plan
for you to
on
get that position though?
the guy I was working for, he was Egyptian actually. He was really
It's
cool.
okay. Oh, see, that don't
He
even
was
count
Egyptian.
because there's not like Egyptian communities everywhere. Like that doesn't even count.
Mhm.
But you see how like when it's not a
But
white
you know
person, a
why?
black person in
Why?
charge, you see how you actually get opportunity.
Yeah.
That's
But I
why,
got
right?
that opportunity mostly because I was like, I think I was the oldest one there. Like all of the, it was like mostly little kids there. So it was mostly like little kids. So I got that opportunity because I think I was like, I had more experience in that industry, I guess. So I think that was why. But it's not like a great job or nothing. I mean, it was okay. But hey, Lil Brown, hey girl, temporary jobs. I've been making music, doing my own thing, getting my own cash. I know that's right. I know that's right. I want to get like, but I really do want to have like a work at home job because, like I was saying on the other live stream, I was saying about how we do get singled out a lot. Like I worked in like monoracial spaces. No matter where I go, no matter how respectful I am, no matter how good of a worker I try to be, somebody gonna find something they don't like about me, and it made me question so much about myself. Like, damn, what is wrong with me? But it's like I don't. I hate to like make it think that it's because of my race. It could because I hate to think that, but I don't know what else it could be. Like I don't know. Like it's sad.
But you have to use your instincts. So like sometimes it is about race, and we were talking about the military, not to divert the conversation. So during my experience in the military, a lot of mulattoes, um, we do have a lot of high end token positions, but we have no political leverage because it's very different. Because being a token does not mean that you have political leverage. You see high position blacks now they're starting to have political leverage. You don't see mulattoes having any sort of political leverage. We're giving money, but at the end of the day, that's good and all, but we have no power. I'd rather have power than the money. We can have all these good jobs, all these titles, but we don't have any political leverage to make changes and receive funding for our own interests. So that's what we're stuck at right now. We're stuck in a hard place, and we have to categorize in order to get out of this hard place that we're in.
So
Exactly. We
y'all
need to
get paid by
have
the
yeah.
ranks though, right? Y'all get paid by your ranks.
Yes, we do, but at the end of the day, the military is politicized. So You look at black women in the military, right? You can't criticize them. You can't criticize certain segments of black men in the military. I've even witnessed myself. I had a black female lieutenant. She was presenting Black History Month, and she said Rosa Parks was chosen because of colorism, and right in front of everybody. Imagine if I talked about the same way concerning black people. Would I keep my job? No, I will lose my job. You know
No,
that a lot of mulattoes, if we speak out against bad black behavior, they can get us for discrimination. I've had threats. I had threats of that before, where they'll say, "Oh, do you want me to take you HR? You're not all the way black." So I'm like, "Wait a minute, like, am I black or not?" So it's this constant game and blackmail and bargaining that they play with us, and I've just felt some type of way during the past 3 years because it's very blatant. It used to be covert, but now it's just blatant. So if you want to use these tactics, especially the victim aggressor mentality, then how come we have to keep on accepting this? Like eventually we have to stick up for ourselves, and we have to, not give them the middle finger per se, but we have to tell them like, look, we're going to draw the line in the sand, and we're going to have our own spaces, own economy, and our own political ideologies. I don't want to be under black people. I really don't. You look at I'm an
me either.
educator. I'm a substitute teacher, so I teach at a majority black and Hispanic school, and they're underperforming. I'm wondering, what if we had mulatto only schools? How would our performance be altered because we're counted as blacks? I want to
I
see
think we
our
would
own
do too well. I
statistics.
think we would do too well, and they don't like that. That's why they put us in the black community, so we can carry them on our backs. We got to carry them.
Yeah, and it's always complaint after complaint. They complain for no reason. It's like a mental illness. They find problems to complain about, and whenever you offer a solution, they want to create a counter solution or hypotheticals. At the end of the day, I don't want to work with these people, because at the end of the day, you don't want to solve any problems. You want to live off of victimhood and earn money, and you want mulattoes to do all the dirty work. And once we're done, we're going to be disposed of, and we're going to be called the white people of the black community. We're viewed as white people. Even the white liberals, they don't view us as black. They view us as privileged because blacks go behind our backs and they tell all of these groups about us. They're like, oh, light skinned people are this, mulattoes are this. They're very privileged. They've been oppressing us. We've never oppressed blacks. We've actually fought against racism so many times, and I think it's a conspiracy that this is revenge placed upon us because mulattoes back then used to start all these slave rebellions throughout the Americas. So I think it is revenge in a sense because whites say no, if we rise up, we're going to be rebellious. It is what it is. I call a spade a spade. I've known that I stole the show, but yeah, what do you guys think about that?
I do think we need our own spaces offline, real life. We do need our own just to see how we perform. I think that would be a good solution. I do think that would be interesting, because I didn't perform well in school because I had to deal with having to deal with like always feeling like you're an outcast or always like, yeah, I didn't really perform well in school. Like I did when I like elementary school when nobody cared about race, but when race started becoming an issue, I didn't like going to school. It wasn't a good environment for me. So yeah, I would like because education is very important. Like we need to make sure mulatto children, biracial children are being very well educated so we can have more opportunities, right? So I do think that's a key important component that's very necessary. So yeah, what do you think, Jay?
As far as workers, the school,
The schools.
I feel like the school that's a whole nother topic. But for school, I think I see it a lot. That I think it's hard for biracial people to perform well, especially when it comes down to race and the racial concept. Like if you're biracial and you're in an all white school, it's going to be hard because you're trying to fit in. Like you're more worried about when you go to school, you're going to be worried about your hair being straight because you don't want to be picked on.
Yes, I
You're
hated that the hair
you're
thing. I
you're
felt
gonna
so
you're gonna be
self-conscious.
worried about like the trends, fitting in, being popular. You're gonna be worried about things that have nothing to do with education. And even if you're in an all black space, like you're gonna be all black school, you're gonna be, you're gonna get a lot of attention and a lot of black people worried about what you're doing because you're mixed, so they got to check you. They got to make sure. It's just like when we go live on these spaces and they come attack us for anything we say. So it's like, just imagine being in a school setting. You got black people just constantly on your ad. Like, you can't focus in school. You can't pay attention because they're so, oh, why are you sitting with the white people, or why are you hanging out with them? Why are you acting white? Why are you doing that? And it's just like your attention, even if you just stay to yourself, people are gonna bother you. So it's like you just can't focus in school in either side. So we really need our own. We need to be like a majority somewhere where we can succeed, where we can get the actual education and experience, like our well being experience as humans. We just need somewhere we can we're just not fitting in white and black spaces. Like, even if they accept us, that doesn't mean we're fitting in. You know what I'm saying? Because white people could accept black people all day long, but that doesn't mean that they fit in with them.
Exactly. Let me read somebody's comments. Somebody said, like, I was constantly fighting and getting suspended. Exactly. I was the same way. Like, I did not really perform well in school like
Yeah,
that. Really didn't.
how do you do well when you're
Always
fighting,
fighting and then always getting in
or
trouble and
you're
always
being
getting,
bullied, or
yeah, always like always worrying about who I fit in with, always worrying about like, oh, is my friend racist or not, or always worrying about who really. It's just like, man, I don't know. It's just I didn't like school. I really hated school. Like, it wasn't like, how people look back in school. They're like, oh, that was my glory days. Oh, that was so.
yeah.
I don't feel that way at all. Like, I don't look back and like, oh, it was just so great. No, I just
Between white people and black people, I would say biracial people had the worst experience in school. Like, hands down, we got the worst. When it comes to school, our experience is the worst because we're in settings that are not built for us. They're not socialized for us. Like, we're that's what people don't understand. Like, when people say accept it, what they're really saying is that this space isn't socialized for you. So you have to be accepted into it. Like, the society is not, so the way society is socialized, it's not socialized for biracial people. So that's why we have to seek acceptance, and we got to
mm-hmm,
try to fit in, because we have to fit into their social standards, their social,
exactly.
it's
And
a
you're right on.
And that's why we have less opportunities. If we're not doing good at school, we're not as educated. We're gonna be undereducated, and then we're not gonna have as many opportunities, and we're gonna be stuck working like me, like freaking restaurant jobs or little bullshit ass jobs that really that let anybody in, and then you get treated like shit. Like, that's been my life. Basically, that's been
And
my life.
And to add
But
on to what you said too, because you look at the relationship between schools in certain cities and the type of employment opportunities that come to those cities. So let's say Austin, right? Austin, Texas. You have well-performing schools. Guess what's going to come because of these well-performing schools? Microsoft, Amazon. Well, Amazon corporate, not the factories, but Amazon corporate, big tech, or high-paying companies are going to come to these communities that have well-performing high schools, because high schools and grade schools in general, they're the pipelines to employment. That's why employment
exactly.
opportunities correlate with education. Me
Mm-hmm.
as a substitute teacher, I've observed two different communities, right? The
Mm-hmm.
Black and Hispanic community, because these are the numbers, right? I'm not throwing them in just to throw them in, because Black and Hispanic, they're two different people, right? But they go to the same school. They're 50-50 at the school I sub at. And I went to an all Indian school to substitute. And the Indian school majority, right? It's not Indian only. So Ambrosia, she wants integration. That's okay. Like, we can have integration. We can have skilled teachers. That's what it's all about, right? But the Indian only school, they're top 50 in the state of Texas, while the Black and Hispanic school is at the bottom 200 in the state of Texas. And I substituted at both schools. So it does matter what schools we go to and how we set up. And if we're not our own group, how can we get school board members, principals, administrators? We're going to be treated as permanent guests and an undergroup. And you look at these black schools now, they're promoting, these weird ideologies. Like, I don't care what you roll with, but at the end of the day, I only care about education. All the political ideologies, wait until you graduate high school to become more political. We need to have better math skills, science, English, all these educational endeavors we have to worry about. But like Tragic Jay said, I went to a majority black high school. It was hell for me because, like say, especially you being a mulatto and biracial, you're under the scope every day, and then people are always trying to one up you. It's always, you always have a chip on your shoulder. I'm not us, but the people that are trying to one up us, they always try to have all these micro battles. Like every little argument turns into a huge argument, and I'm sick of it. I've seen this go on for years and years, and needs to be addressed. How can we perform well in school if we have all of these distractions? No, it's impossible. So, in a sense, I know Ambrosia, she's right about being against segregation. I am, but at the end of the day, we need to invest in our own children, and most importantly, invest in the schools that our children are going to attend.
Yeah, let me read some of these comments. Somebody said, I like this one. Remember, education is lifelong jobs. Keep reading, cultivating yourselves. I'll help you. It'll help you in the workforce in general. I agree with that. And this is actually very validating to me because I always felt like I was a fucking loser or nobody because I didn't really perform well in school. But it's like you said, it's like this system wasn't designed with biracial people in mind whatsoever. Like these environments are not designed to benefit biracial people. Like we're not really thought about how do we perform or what's our so I yeah, we have to design like systems and school systems and education programs that have us in mind. So and I like this what Lo said. She said we have to abandon part of ourselves in order to exactly. That's so true. And the problem we don't fit in from any places these mulattoes were and the problem is we don't come from any place where all these mulattoes are together. We're scattered. Exactly. I said their deviance is our truth because the race war thing is stupid and multiracials usually are living with love. Amen. Black people always call me love and it irritates me like you don't live with love, gaslighting my double rooted self. Yeah, this is true. I was just reading the comments, but there was one comment I said it said we are genetically smarter than the war that was and what is. We can fix things fast like God put us here to do. And somebody said I agree with you that we need our own things. And maybe a private school isn't a terrible deal. We've all had similar experiences. Yeah, maybe a private school or something like that, right? That we could
Yeah,
all
and I
come together.
appreciate it. Like I appreciate Mark, but God's not going to solve our problems. We're going to solve our own problems. I'm a believer of God, but let's not become overly religious and leave God. My bad. Leave everything into God's hands. It's like, look, I appreciate us praying. You may be Christian, Catholic, whatever, right? But we have to solve our own problems by taking action. We can't wait on um, Ambrosia. My bad, Ambrosia. Sorry about that. My bad. Yeah, the female name. Sorry, my bad. But um, but yeah, we need to start solving our own problems and actually do the work because what I've been observing is we have so many mulatto spaces clashing for that number one spot. I have a mindset that we need to come together as a business. Everything should be business oriented. We don't have to like each other in person. That's not the goal. The goal is for us to have power, leverage, and a sense of unity whenever we have outside problems fester into our communities. All the problems that we have within the community, we should solve at the lowest level instead of going public and making fools out of ourselves. But yeah, talking about school, it is important. It's something that needs to be addressed because you look at kids now, their reading levels are about 4 grades below where they're supposed to be at. I substitute for middle school, especially seventh and eighth grade, and a lot of these kids don't know how to write proper sentences on paper. Yet you don't see any mulatto school attendance principals. It's usually black women at the top. Yet they'll claim colorism whenever we get to the top. But I thought it was all about results. Now you're letting the school system burn because of diversity. Like screw diversity. We need the best people at the top, and we have to tackle this with a sense of urgency because you look at the world now. The world is ever changing. You have more automation. We have to get into tech, literature. We have to become smarter. All these menial jobs, they're going to be undercut probably in 5 to 10 years. So screw diversity. We need to focus on our group and our interests whenever it comes to education.
Look, I agree with you. Education is 1,000,000% the foundation. So what can we be doing right now to create more opportunities for ourselves. Because here's what I want to do. I wanted to go to school to like culinary and like start my own. Because you said we have to start thinking about industry. Like, what kind of industries can we get into and get a piece of the market, right? So that's what I want to do. That's my plan. I want to get into like the restaurant industry and like have a restaurant. I see there's like, you know, Mexican owned restaurants, Chinese owned restaurants, all these different restaurants that are capitalizing on their culture. So I kind of want to do the same thing.
Well, well, you are right about that. So, I do have a formula for that. So, I'm quite a history buff, right? I love reading history. So, there was this event called the Meiji Restoration in Japan, right? So, I think that I brought this up in my previous video, but this is very important to industry, right? So, Japan did not get colonized because they put their ego to the side and they let outsiders teach them about various things. You know, you had Americans bring the Japanese teleprompting machines, a whiskey, new food, new ideologies. So what we need to do, we need to have that same approach. Like, we can go to the Chinese community. I want to learn engineering. We're behind in everything. We don't know everything. Most of us don't know how government runs. Even myself, I'm still learning how the school board, the city, and how municipalities run. So we have to go to other groups and learn information. That's what it's all about. So it can be from a white person, even a black person, Mexican person, whoever. We need to go to the people that have information as long as we pay them and we get that knowledge in return so we can build our own industries and start competing. We need to be placed in a competitive situation. But for now, we just have to turn the other cheek and humble ourselves. We're not where we're supposed to be at. We're very behind. So you want to own a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
That's good. So go to school, learn how to cook and, get that support. It is possible. It's possible. But I know I'm talking too much. My apologies. I'm going
No,
to
you're speaking
let
some good
people speak.
shit. Like, I'm actually getting a lot of good information from you. Like, we need to go where the information is, don't matter for who it's from.
Yeah.
Learn the information and take it to help build our communities. I love
And
that.
you're
I think
right.
that's smart. I think that's very smart.
And also, there's a lot of people on TikTok blaming white supremacy. We have to come to the fact that white people, they control the world, they make our money, so we have to fall in line because you have a lot of these black nationalists. They want to be their own bread basket. Blacks don't even produce oil. They don't know how to produce oil. They don't know how to produce wind energy, hydro energy, electricity. If white people left this country today, we'd be in hell, and you want to be your own bread basket. And a lot of black people don't know how to make factories or how to work sophisticated machinery. So we have to be realist. Yeah, white supremacy is real, but guess what? They have the power. They're ahead of us. We have to learn. We have to play catch up. You look at the Asians, they play catch up. Indians were colonized. They played catch up. So we just have to take that humble position, build ourselves up, and just perform and compete. That's going to be our solution. I know that Tragic Jay hasn't spoken in a long time, so I wanted to hear his opinion.
I think that what I want to do is I want to bring awareness to biracial people because what we don't realize is we're experiencing the aftermath of segregation, meaning when segregation was going on, it gave these segregated communities chances to build with their own people to create a like-minded mindset for them to get on the same page and be one. And they put themselves in positions of power. They got businesses, companies. Basically, they built a world for themselves. And then after they were done building, they ended segregation and released us into the world. And we're just walking around like, can we come in? Knocking at the door. And they get to decide if they want to let us in or not.
And that's a
And
very dangerous position to be in because we cannot let people like that control our fate. We should control our own fate. Inclusion is good because you have to think about if we want these opportunities, there will have to be some integration. We need white capital because these pro blacks, they're going to guilt us into saying that don't depend on the white man for money, yet they're the main ones getting money from Goldman Sachs, Google, all these big tech corporations, but we're not seeing none of it. I've seen this article today that black women, they're opening up their own credit union. Do you think that mulatto women, even mulatto men, do you think that they're going to get any share of that money? Yet they'll complain about colorism. So it's a crock of BS because they're telling us one thing and then they're doing the exact opposite.
Facts.
That's blatant
Facts.
hypocrisy, and that's what pissed me
They do
off.
that with school
Because
too. Like they'll be like, you're learning the if you get educated, then you're just being brainwashed by the white man system. But yet here they are getting degrees.
yeah, but you have to look at the degrees that they're getting, and also look at these jobs. They're not performing well. They have to use diversity quotas, EO, because if that system was gone, I bet you not that you have fewer blacks working jobs. And it is what it is. I'm not criticizing the black community, but they're so big on diversity, um, community, all of these communist ideals that people don't want to address. They have to be accepted no matter what. They cannot be criticized. They're above reprise, but they're able to criticize us. They're able to criticize anyone but themselves. So you have to think about it. What is it? What's in it for us? What's in it for us dealing with such type of people that will create their own credit unions, but they will never include mulatto women because they're colorist. Even these movies, they're not putting biracial women in because it's colorist. So now the models used to be mulattoes, which who are very beautiful. Now they're being replaced by black women because everyone feels guilty. You have to feel guilty for them no matter what. And personally, I became tired of this because I'm 30. I'm too old for this black male bargaining trope. And if you want to deal with us, then it's going to be on paper and especially business wise. It's not going to be nothing for free. And we will have to report discrimination because if they're doing that to us, then guess what? You're going to get a taste of your own medicine.
Yeah, I think with the but black people have a certain formula when it comes to biracial people. And that formula is it could be used in any situation, in any context. It could be used in school, whether social settings, work. But the formula it goes like this. Like, for example, they'll tell Zendaya she's black, right? She's a black woman, but she can't play a dark skinned character because it's colorist. So you're telling me a black person can't play a black person, or a black person can't play a dark skinned person?
Yeah,
Isn't
that's the
isn't
way it is. Like even Malcolm X, because I think that this was addressed 3 years ago. I believe by Beige and Brown. I believe that's his channel. I don't really follow him, but I give credit where it's due. So I may disagree with you in person or your lifestyle, but I will always give credit where it's due. So I believe Brown and Beige, that's the channel. So he talked about race. I believe it's called blackwashing, right? So Malcolm X was played by Denzel Washington. That should have never happened. Malcolm X was, he was not mulatto, but he was a lighter skinned black man. But yet you have Denzel Washington playing him. Nobody complained. What if a light skin, let's say a mulatto man, what if he plays Martin Luther King? They'd be complaining. So they
they
have the right, they have the self anointed right to complain against us. Anything that we do, they can put us under the microscope.
they didn't just do that with the Malcolm X movie. They do that when they talk about history in general. Whenever they show a movie about slavery, they never have any biracial men in there, light skinned men. It's just all dark skinned men. And
And you're
that's
right.
giving a false image because biracial people were slaves too, light skinned people were slaves too. They only show dark skinned people when they show slave movies.
And you're right on because you look at history. Booker T. Washington, he's constantly demonized. He's like, oh, he likes acquiescing with Caucasian people. Yet he renovated Tuskegee. He traveled from Hampton, Virginia to Tuskegee. He cleaned up the institution, instilled discipline, and guess what came out of Tuskegee? The Tuskegee Airmen. Yet, how come mulattoes we don't have preference to Tuskegee admission? That's something that we need to do as well. We need to take back our institutions, our historical artifacts, and place them in a separate museum because it's unacceptable that Tuskegee they met all these black people. But mulattoes, no, it's like we never contributed anything to the black community. Yet we renovated Tuskegee. Booker T. Washington, like I say, he made sure that the students cleaned up after themselves. He taught them hygiene, study habits. Yet, today there's no mulatto preference. Yet you have black preference for all these historically black institutes. So where's our share in education? And if we have no education, what does that mean? No employment.
Exactly. And
Hello.
Hello, hold on. My audio is messing up. I think it fixed. My audio. Sorry, I'm gonna go on my laptop. But oh, hold on. I wanted to address what Lo said real quick. We have historical people to look to, like people like Magdalena Walker. She was the first woman in America to own a bank, and
You're
she was
breaking up.
working. Breaking up. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go on my laptop.
Okay, you're better right now because it was
I
muffling.
want
So you
I
have
want to
to
talk
say
about
what you need to say.
I want to talk about CRT, critical race theory, real quick, because that's taught in school, and CRT, it does not benefit biracial people at all whatsoever. Matter of fact, any black rights, anything that has to do with black people does not benefit biracial people, because growing up, I had no idea that biracial people contributed anything to black people. I did not know this growing up because we're labeled as black. So me as a mixed person coming into the world, I'm thinking that there's only a black history. I had no idea that mixed people played a part in it
Facts.
because they're
Exactly.
labeling people as black. So for me, I feel like that takes away from our blackness. That takes away from us not feeling like we're a part of the community, because you're not telling us that mixed people are contributing to black people. You're telling us that these people are black. So from our perspective, you're giving us the image that we did nothing. So we're thinking this just fully belongs to black people.
You're right about that. So we need our own education system. I think the industries that we should focus on is education because there's a teacher shortage. I wouldn't call it a shortage because teachers are underpaid, but we have to start from somewhere. So, you know, yes, we're going to have to take less money, but beggars can't be choosers. So I would say get into education jobs. I'm a substitute teacher myself. I'm a long term substitute. So like I said, I've been doing my work and also I'm doing tutoring on the side. So I'm making my own courses. I'm reaching out to the Asian community. I have Asian friends that are interested in my endeavors, and I'm actually tutoring one Asian coming in August. So I'm actually doing the work. But I will say education, culinary arts is one. Let me see. I'm thinking of another industry that's suited for us. I'll probably say clergy, like we can be good clerks, hospitality, and a industry that we should start getting into is tech. But we have to start off very small. We cannot think about all these industries at once. Eventually, we'll get every industry, but we have to start off with industries that are desperate for workers.
Yeah, I think
Even
we should
agriculture.
start. I think the food industry would be a good one. Like I said, a lot of us are undereducated, so probably a lot of us are stuck in like restaurant jobs, like I am. So if we
Yes.
could start just owning our own shit and hiring these, because all these, I everywhere I go, I see a one little biracial person working in there, working in the back somewhere. So it's like if we could start like having our own, maybe a chain restaurant. That's thinking big, but start small with like something that we could own, and then branch out, and then start just having a bunch of restaurants that we own that are biracial owned and
And
operated,
you're
and that we
right.
can start hiring our people. So that could be something for the people who are undereducated, so they could have, and they could work them way up. We could give them opportunity within that so they could start building their skill set. And that's something I want to work on personally. I want to work on like the food industry aspect of it, because I think that, yeah, I think that that would be a good place for us to start building skills. And then
Yeah,
like
we
we could do
we,
like
we
funding, like send them back to school so they could get more education, so they
yeah
could go to tech jobs, so they can go to tech jobs, so they don't have to be stuck in the food industry if they don't want to be, you
You
know?
are right about that. Because you look at these fast food restaurants, they have scholarship programs, they have tuition assistance. scholarship programs, and also you are right about the fast food being wide open, especially all these restaurants. They need workers. They're paying $18 an hour. Yes, the working conditions may be sketchy, but we have to take what we can get until we can be the own change. Because, like I said, I love the term "beggars
Eh,
cannot be choosers."
hold
We
on.
cannot.
About the
Oh my
hold on
bad. Yeah,
about
go please.
the work programs. Like these workers have programs, but there's no quota being met. Like I feel like there should be a cap on the quota because like they had these programs, but people they're not really letting the workers actually participate in them, and they don't have a quota to meet how many workers have actually completed these programs or actually gone through these programs.
No,
You get what
you're
I'm
right.
saying?
No, you're right. So my thing is, we just have to play the game. We have to turn the other cheek until we have leverage. You look at certain groups that are good at doing this. So the Filipinos, right? They're very good at scab labor. So they'll outsource work to the Filipinos. They come to this country. They perform well. Now they have leverage. So we have to turn the other cheek to get what we want. It
Well,
is
we could
what
turn the
it
other
is.
cheek, but when we turn the other cheek and you get hit again, that's a different story.
Well, we not.
Yeah, but
Well, it's strategy.
God, hey, let me say something real quick though. Another good thing is getting into real estate. You know what I'm saying? And me, I'm in the military right now, and just doing my time or whatever, and about to get out. It's allowing me to have a lot of opportunity to get into jobs or into situations where most people like really wouldn't. Like for example, they have this thing for the farmers. If you want to start your own farm, veterans to farmers, something like that, or like use your VA loan, you use that to help you get real estate with basically no money down. So I think at the end of the day, yeah, it's good to do that, but we need to focus on you know, our economy, have or some having some land or something like that. Like there's land like in Arizona, in Flagstaff, for like 60,000 for 42 acres to sit in there. There's land all over. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need to get into and start building communities because we're multiracial. You know what I mean? So when we start doing that, we're really gonna excel.
You're right about that. So the real estate, that's something that we can do so we can live in proximity. There was a few comments concerning what I said about turning the other cheek. I meant turn the other cheek with the work conditions, not these groups per se, but if we want these jobs, we're going to have to take a few bad deals until we can get better deals. Because, like I said, we're starting off, we're an unknown group, we're quite new, so it's going to happen. We're going to have a few growing pains, but I'll probably say in 5 years we have to perform well. You look at the fast food industry; they don't care about diversity anymore. They care about performance. That's why Hispanics they're getting all these fast food jobs. They don't even care if you speak English. They want fast orders, clean restaurants, good customer service. So we have to focus on performing and competing. That's what's going to come down to. It's either we want it badly enough or we're going to just let these opportunities rot like milk. So,
Okay, like okay, go back to the thing, like you said, turn the other cheek, and go back to like saying you got to do the work yourself, right? And saying like God. Okay, when it comes to God, like a God mind, right? What way God works, He wants you to spread the message, right? He doesn't do the work; you have to do the work.
no, you're right. No, no, no.
But
Let
look,
me
no,
clear myself up.
I know, but I'm gonna say, I'm gonna like, for us to do the work, we have to have the confidence. Biracial people, our mind, our condition, our trauma, we don't have the confidence. We don't have the momentum because we've contributed so much to society, and it's not recognized or acknowledged. Like on especially on race level relations between white and black people, we have leveled the ground. We have contributed so much for in order for this to even be a country, because they would be at war if it wasn't for us. There would be no America. So we have contributed so much to white people and black people as a society, and we're sitting here turning the other cheek after we have contributed it for generations, our whole entire existence to
Okay,
them.
no, okay, okay. When I meant turn the other cheek, I did not mean to say to be a coon, right, or the c word. I don't like using that word, but I meant in strategy, right? We have to come with a strategy. We don't have leverage until we gain leverage. Then we can do things our way. But for now, we have to take the lower position and work our way up. Because, like I say, if we get our own official demographic, we're not going to have a economic base right off the bat. We may have
We
high
have
paying
more leverage
individual
than we
jobs.
think.
We're not
We
highly
we
paid
have
as
more
a
leverage.
group.
We have more leverage than you think, though,
Well, how is that?
because First of all, we're not even considered our own race. The fact that white people have pushed us in the black community, we still have a say over there. They still follow our lead. They still look to us when there's a problem with white people. And white people still need us to know what's going on with black people. So at the end of the day, we control the middle. We
Well,
Nah,
that's
that's
bad
true.
control.
That's
though.
true. But like,
But
but
that's
like, but
dangerous. That's
yeah, but
dangerous because you don't want to be
It's
a
not
buffer
dangerous.
though.
no,
It's
I
not
understand.
no.
But let's back it up. When you was talking about turn the other cheek and everything, right? So from now on, like, what should we do? Because obviously, like my man said, he said we already deal with not really being confident in ourselves and stuff like that. So I mean, I think that's what we should focus on, the mental.
No,
And if they
I
see
have a
us
plan.
in the
I have a
numbers,
plan.
then
I
go
have a
ahead.
plan. It's
Okay, look, you're in the military, right? Put it like this: biracial people
Yeah,
are the people in the trenches. We control everything. It don't matter what this side is doing. This side is doing. If we move out the way, they cross the trenches. We control the trenches. We are really the ones in charge. But we
well,
haven't understood that yet.
no, you're right. You're right. But that's dangerous to be a middle group because when you play in between, don't think that those two groups that hate each other are going to team up on you. You look
yeah,
at this
But
all the
that's the
time,
thing.
right?
They can't because if
Oh,
you
why? Why?
nah, that's
okay,
possible. It's possible though. Come
You
on,
look
it's
at okay.
possible.
I'll give you a situation, right? Look at World War II, right? Poland, right? They played in between Germany and Russia. Germany and Russia hated each other, and during the World War II, the USSR and Germany they both invaded Poland and they were massacred. So playing in the middle can be dangerous if you're not strong enough. That
the
can only get
Germans
you so
the
far.
Germans were in the middle. They were the ones between Britain and
No,
Russia.
not World War II. No, I mean in World War II because USSR was an allied power. Germany was the Axis power. Poland sits between Germany and the Soviet Union. So guess what happened? The Soviet Union and Germany, they both invaded Poland at the same time and took half. So playing in between can be a dangerous game if you have no leverage. That's what I'm saying. So I don't
But
depend
we
on
do have
playing between.
leverage
I
because
depend on having
we're both
power.
sides.
I
So
depend on having sole
okay,
power.
so what? All right, let's go one at a time. Tragic. What do you think we should do? Like, if we were to start, like, literally today, what should we start doing?
I would
Then go
say
around.
I would say start reaching out to corporations and writing down deals, proposals, and we would, centralize, especially real estate. You look at Texas, right? So Greg Abbott, he's very shrewd, but he's reasonable. You look at all these Asians moving to Texas, they're getting their own apartment complexes on different sides of town. So we can go to governors and say, okay, we want these industries, we're going to do these type of jobs, we want accommodations, we want grants. This is what we want. So we have to go at the negotiating table. We're the B side, but we have to go to negotiating table with a plan. And let's say I prefer 5 year plans, 10 year plans, and then daily plans. So we should have a planning block. Okay, see our growth rates, and we need a team. We need a team about like 50. We need a committee. So we need economists. We need industrialists, heads of different committees. So we would split our group into different committees. Like let's say the committee of education, committee of hospitality work,
Hey, hold
committee
on,
of
slow down, slow down.
agriculture.
So look, you're saying that biracial people need all this stuff in order.
Yes, this is how the world
Wait, wait,
works.
hey, what,
Yes.
hey, one at a time.
But
What's
isn't what you're saying just
Hold on,
proof
Can y'all
of
hear
our
me?
position?
Wait, 1 second. Can y'all hear me? My audio is messing up
What you're
bad.
saying, we're
yeah, we
basically
Gary.
Hey,
what you're saying is
okay.
basically we're in America, but we're just like third world people.
I said if we became our own group. If we became our own group, that's the question that you asked, right? So you said the day after, we
So
would
so
have
so no,
to.
I'm saying if we don't become our own group, we won't need all that.
No, you have to listen to the question. You asked us if we became our own group. It's not about if we're not. This is hypothetically if tomorrow mulatto was on paper, right?
Well,
If
we're not talking
mulatto
about on
was
paper. If I could
okay,
do it right now without being my own group, we should be able to do it as a group.
well, okay. My thing is, we need everything to be on paper. The world does not work like that. I'm not patronizing you. I'm not treating you as you're dumb, but the world does not work like that because everything is political. Everything needs to be on paper because you look at a place like Taiwan, right? Taiwan makes all this money, but they're not their own country. So guess what?
I don't think you
They're
get what I'm
denied.
saying. Okay, say
Um,
for
Hey,
example,
hey, let Jay talk, dog. Let Jay talk.
yes.
say oh go ahead.
No, no, I'm talking about you, dog. You talk.
Oh, so basically say Magic, me and Magic Malala, right? We're not considered our own group, but we could still do these things because we're not our own group. It's basically what you're saying, that if we want to become our own group, then we gotta have all this shit. But if we don't want to become our group, then you already have this shit. So if we already have this shit, we don't need to be considered our own group. We could just do it and just say we're not considered our own group, but we know we're our own group.
Well, you're right about that. So the reason why we want to become our own group is due to stabilization. We want a stabilized and centralized structure, right? So you look at a country like Taiwan. Taiwan is not considered a country. It's considered a place in the sovereign state, right? Because you have two Chinas. You have the Republic of China and you have the PROC, right? The People's Republic of China. So the PROC is viewed as a country while the ROC is not. But when you're not viewed as a country, they have their own passports, their own currency, their own airports, but they're excluded from high-end organizations. They cannot go to the G20. They're excluded from the World Health Organization. They're um, they're excluded from a certain trade. They're not able to go to the United Nations Assembly. So that's why I say we need an official group so we get all these allotments for ourselves. Because if we're playing that game where we're ambiguous and we're not officially recognized, then other groups they'd be hesitant to do business
Well, let
with
me
us.
say that. Let me just say
We need
this
to
thing.
stay at the table.
Yeah,
The game, the
yeah,
game you're
yeah, Jay,
saying
yeah,
we gotta play.
yeah. Go
The
ahead, Jay.
game.
Go ahead and let Magic talk. She was trying to talk.
Uh, so the game you're saying we gotta play. Somebody created that game, right? So that means that we could create a game and we could play our own way. We don't even have to try that way. If you're saying that's what we gotta do, we don't have to play that. We could create our own game and play our own game because the game you're telling us to play was created by a man. That was man made. So we could create our own game and play our own way. And I think to answer his question, but he left, but where we start at, we could just start with supply and demand. It's simple as that. We don't have to do all the stuff we're talking about. We can just go straight to supply and demand. When there's a demand, there has to be a supply.
No, you're right. You're right. And but eventually we have to get to the bigger stuff, right? So we can start off small, we can start off unofficial, and you're right about that. And I'm down for that. I'd like to start tomorrow, but eventually over time, when we become more complex, we need an official political structure because what happens time in and
Yeah,
time
that's
again,
gonna come anyway. It's just
no, no,
it's gonna
but
happen. It's gonna
but
it's like a seed. It's just gonna grow into that. Like
okay, fair.
it's gonna happen naturally.
No, I like it. I like what you're thinking, and that is fair to say. But we just have to think about the long game. Like we can start off as seeds, and I agree with you. I like your mindset, and it is true.
Some of us might not be here in the long game. Like Martin Luther King, he wasn't here for the long game. So it's
Well,
like we
I
have to
think
think
you're going
about
off
it, but at
topic.
this no, I'm saying like we have to think about the long game, but the long game is what I'm trying to say. Basically, what we do now is the long game.
Okay, yeah, it can resolve in the long game, and yes, I respect your views. I don't think that I'm disagreeing with you just to disagree. There are a few good points that you say. We can start anytime. We don't need permission, but I mean over time we need a political structure so we can have organization and order. We need order, discipline, culture. That's going to come over time. We're the seeds, and I appreciate that. We can start, and personally, I've been starting myself. I've been doing the work, and I'm not afraid to show the work that I've been doing. But the thing is, we have to think about plans. We have to start reaching out to corporations, like I said, industries. We were talking about that early. See our educational methods because my vision is we need to become innovators. We can innovate the education system. We can have our own math systems, our own way of learning English, our own way of learning history. We can have our own style of teaching and become innovative. So we need to become an innovative force. And most importantly, especially for the men, my vision is to not be militarized, but to have a masculine image. Like
I'm
we want to tell people that we're here and we're not playing any games and we're here to take over eventually. That's just my goal, and I'm a
I'm
nationalist.
gonna tell you the problem with that's a good strategy. The problem with that though is 80% of the biracial population is not as educated as you. Like what you're saying, their mind is not ready for that. So you got to
Well,
start with the
you are right
most.
about that.
No, no, but he right though. He right. But Magic, you wanted to say something? My bad.
Yeah, I want to say so. All of us on an individual level, right? Like you said, education is real important. I think we should focus on what type of education we need to get into the type of industry that we want to get into, and then we could, like you said, innovate that industry so we could like build businesses that suit us and fit us that we could thrive in, right? So that's like a three-step process that we could all be taking on individually, right? So we got to start like, what can I be doing to
Yes.
push things forward, right? So I think we should all take that into mind, how we could all
I
like
think that we shouldn't only focus on educated people though, because we got a class poverty, middle class, and the rich is gonna always
look,
exist.
I'm not
So
educated.
what
I'm
about
not that
homeless
educated
biracial people?
person.
What about
But I'm
poor by people? Poor
Okay.
biracial
no,
people.
So
look,
you're
So
right
I
about
feel
I'm
like
that.
not
y'all. I feel like Jay Sharp. You're only focused on the educated biracial people and what
Well,
they
for
could do.
now, for
no, look,
now,
I'm trying to get the education so I can get into the industry that I don't want to get into. Like I said, I want to do the restaurant. I
But
want to
I
own a
know,
restaurant.
I get that, but that's a different game though. Like that you're going into capitalism and classism, which
I'm
a
not a
lot of racists.
classist. I'm a
No,
realist.
I
I'll
know
tell
what
you
I'm
why.
saying is that that's a game. That's a whole different game. That's not a racial game because white people, black people, Asian people, everybody's playing that game already. So I'm talking about something totally different. Totally different.
That's why we need.
Like,
But that's why
okay,
we
I'm
need.
gonna give you a good example. Like the projects in poor neighborhoods, white trash, trailer parks, they are comfortable where they're at because they're with their own group. So I'm talking about on a racial standpoint. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, there's gonna be rich biracial
No,
people.
you're right. You're right. I have a plan for that. So my incentive for the workers, right? Because you said 80% of biracial people are not ready for this, and rightfully so, right? But most people are followers. What we should do concerning political ideologies, we should become an oligarchy. The poor people or the common working class, we can give them incentives. We can give them education, but we cannot accept freeloaders because I have a problem with a drunken person having the same opinion and voting leverage as a doctor. This is insane. So you're saying that a drunkyard person that's illiterate has the same political leverage as a scholar. Let's be realistic. I'm very realistic. I'm focusing on the educated people first because they're going to be the leaders of the society,
Well,
whether we
that's
like it
simple.
or
We
not.
already have biracial celebrities. You said most people are followers, so these people are
I said
already gonna.
educated, not celebrities. Two different things.
Well, I mean, well,
Celebrities can be
even
ignorant.
okay. There's biracial presidents. There's biracial. Once they get once they have like where we're coming from, they're gonna feel it too. So they're gonna already be on the same page we're on, and they're gonna already be in those positions. Like for example, Obama, he might hear a biracial story, and be like, "Wow, you know what? I want." Like he might be awakened. You get what I'm saying?
Well,
So
I don't think so. I don't think Obama's going to be awakened, and he's done a lot of damage, like beyond repair. So Obama, he's a lost cause. He's in his
I'm
mid
just saying
fifties.
there's a that's an example. There's a lot of biracial
Okay,
people in
you're right.
political powers that could be awakened.
Okay, so my thing about that, right? So we're talking about the common people, right? I'm not a classist, but at the same time, with the common person, we can give them subsidized housing, incentives. We can give them safe communities, such as heavy policing. It's like, look, you work, you follow the law, and for town hall meetings, a good thing too that I've came up with is give them compensation for the shift that they missed if it occurs during town hall meetings. So we can get the poor and the working class involved, but at the same time, we don't shift into classism. Every job is important, but let's be realistic. Not every job is going to make the same amount of money. Then, if that's the case, we'd revert to communism. So let's be realistic. A McDonald's worker is not going to make as much money as a school dean, but we should treat everybody with dignity, respect, and most importantly, see the importance of every job that that is offered to us. Because some people are limited, many people are limited. You don't need to be special and shouldn't be special in order to have a home. Having a home is a human right. So I do lean towards some form of socialism with capitalism, but we don't want free market capitalism to a point where it's out of control and you have people living in coffin homes. But we have to be realistic upon our roles and the jobs that we have, and we have to be smart about how we say things. And now we're talking about the political clergy, right? They do have to be smart. We want our scholars, we want the best and brightest to run our politics, as long as they're not corrupted. If they're corrupted, hold them accountable, kick them out of office. But if the policies are great and you have a few disgruntled people, then we move forward. We cannot accommodate a handful of miscreants when most of the people enjoy the policies that we implement. So it's a very complex issue that has to be worked over time. And one thing that I want to do next year, I actually want to draft a plan for us, like probably a 20-page plan, and actually study economics and government. So we have to start off with culture and propaganda. We need positive propaganda. Have billboards of um, biracial and mulatto couples holding hands together. Getting away from hip hop culture, getting away from acting vulgar, learning etiquette, learning manners. We have to change ourselves. That's how we're going to gain leverage. We have to be presentable people to other races. We have to earn that respect. We cannot talk and slang to Asian races and these people that have money and the expertise. We need to be humble, clean ourselves up, and we have to revamp our image. Get
That's
rid of
true,
this.
but like that sounds like a 5 year plan. We're talking about like now, dog. You know what I'm
It
saying?
is now.
But
It is now. We can have more
yeah,
biracial couples posted on
We
Facebook.
can do that right now.
Even
Look,
yeah. Let me hear. Yeah, go ahead, man.
I started my little YouTube channel, like like girl. I don't use the word mulatto, but I can. I mean, I can say that too. So I did start that like a little channel to support and promote like like people like my family. Like my husband's biracial, I'm biracial, my kids are mixed. So I do want to support that in us. I think that's a very important aspect of it, and there's so much pushback on it. So that's very important. I think that's something we can control of who we choose to date and marry, and like like building websites and apps and stuff like that. That's something we can control right now. And yeah, like you said, like building up cleaning up our image. And then I like what Lo said. Hold on. She said something I think it's important. It says we need to start uplifting. Hold on. My computer's being so slow. Oh my
Look,
God.
this is what I predict.
Oh, yeah, let me finish
2024.
real quick. Let me finish real quick. Let me finish real quick. Okay, but she said we need to start uplifting our communities, validating one another's experiences that mix people. The unification and recognition should be our main focus. I think the unification that's my main focus, like bringing us all together and like people that are like-minded so we could build these communities and figure out what our roles are and what can we be doing. So there's a lot we could be doing right now to set us up for success in the future. And we could all implement these strategies and goals when we're all on the same page together, right? So yeah. Go ahead, Jay.
So this is what I predict. I predict in 2024, biracial people as a whole are going to be networking with each other like they have never have before. And everything that Jay Sharp is saying is gonna come into play after that, because when people start networking, that's where you start at. When people start networking, that's when stuff starts to come together. That's when work starts to get done. So like everything he's saying is gonna come after that.
Yeah, you're right about that. Like I said, it starts off small, but at the end of the day, we need to strive for stabilization. So, what type of image should we strive for? So, I know that you haven't spoken. I'm sorry about dominating the microphone, and I don't like, speaking a lot. I like sharing the love. But now, what we should do is a positive propaganda, having websites, buy advertisement of billboards. Just start promoting imagery, like hire artists. Like we need propaganda, and this has been going on for a very long time. You have propaganda, and propaganda changes the mind over time. So if you see advertisements, media, pictures of us doing positive things. I mean, let's say
So we
us
need
doing
to reach out
community
to like
service.
biracial producers and writers and people who have those already positions in the
Yes,
media.
yes. I know that. brother over here hasn't talked for a very long time, so let's get him on the mic. Golden Mulatto King, what do you think about all of this?
I think it's a very good plan to send forth, but at the end of the day, from my honest opinion, it's more about us having like yes, build the image and all that, but we need to have economics, money, or somehow. I know we could always like bring up money in together and do no donations, but I think it's smart. Everything you're saying, you and Jay and Malata, you know what I mean? I think it's a very smart thing to do, and we just gotta
So
really do it. We could talk about it, but we actually got to put it on paper and actually
yeah,
Absolutely. And I think that image does play a role inside the economics because if you have a good image and you have a good reputation, more people are going to want to do business with. It's like a credit. Like if you have good credit, they know that you're gonna pay them back. So it's like I think credit is very important. Building our credit to make sure we can get like these loans and business loans. That's what me and my husband are doing right now. We're building our credit, making sure our credit is solid so we can like eventually like own property and we can own get business loans and doing things like that. So I think our reputation, credit, image, I think it does play a role into the economics so we can
And you're right
uplift
about
ourselves.
that because I'll give you a hypothetical, right? So let's say you're not an American, right? Let's say you had to choose doing business with North Korea or South Korea. Who are you going to do business with? Are you going to do business with North Korea that has a bad image, or
Korea.
business with South Korea that has a
doesn't
great
it
image?
doesn't it
So
depend
image
where you
does
where
get
you're
us in the
standing?
door.
Doesn't it depend where you're standing? Because the only reason that South Korea has a good image is because of us, but because of America. But if you go to China, North Korea is going to have a better image.
I'm just being brief. I'm being brief because I
In
know where you're
general,
going with
North
this.
Korea does not have a good image. They're no. In general,
No, no, but I'm
They
being
don't
brief
have a good
because
image because that's what the media shows us.
no, I read a lot about North Korea and I know about the Korean conflicts and the wars, and I'm just
America is
this is
not
a
so
brief
great. No,
question.
no place is not so great. If you were being honest,
but yeah, but I having a good image helps you economically. It
they
really
could read
does.
stuff about us, but that's neither here
It's
nor there. But
propaganda, right? Because look, in
here's
North
something we could do that's not on paper though. Since we're talking about economics, we could create economic systems. Biracial people, we could do that, whether people like it or not.
No, we can, and it's going to take a lot of work. We have to learn economics. We need economic advisors. We need an economic
I could teach
cabinet.
economics right here on YouTube and TikTok.
Well, if that's the case, then organize a few documents and then share it with us. And like I said, we're not going to teach word of mouth, right? I'm not trying to boss anyone around, but if we're going to teach something, then we need reliable resources. We need databases, and I want our work to be the best work as possible because me being an educator, I always believe in quality work. I'm not doubting Trader J. I'm not doubting you, and I believe that you will teach us the right way. I just want to work to be quality work. I don't like
There's an
absolutely,
ancient philosophy. It goes, if you want more apples, plant more trees. If you want more trees, plant more people.
Well, I will
So
say this. I will say this. You are right. Why don't you start creating documents and then publicize them, or put them in a Google Drive? I believe it's like a shared drive, and then get PDFs, get official documents, type it up. Good grammar, good everything. And I don't doubt you. You're able to do it. You can pull it off. I'm not patronizing you, by the way, but
no, no.
that's how far we need to go. It's like good research. Um, the numbers match, and I'm willing to support you. That's all I'm going to say. I don't doubt you. I'm just saying that that's how we need to do
100%.
business.
Yeah, yeah. Can
So
I?
I love.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was gonna talk about
No,
what I
go
wrote
ahead.
in
Go
the
ahead.
chat. Yeah, I was talking about how we should if we're serious about this, start a nonprofit organization, then we could elect or vote the right people to like have control over it or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, just even put like for real, if we how many people we got here? We got what, 8 watching and 4 on the panel. So that's about like what, 12 or something like that. Say we put $5 or $10 in a month. You know what I mean? Over time, that will help build towards the brand, and then from there we could go on things we could do.
I
You know what
wouldn't
I'm saying?
mind.
I
Exactly,
love it.
exactly.
I'm willing to do that. Yes,
That's
I
the
thought about that
economic
same
system.
thing.
It's that
Oh,
simple.
Malava, Mulatto King, you definitely need to talk to me about that in the Discord because I had that. We're on the same page with that. Like we could start building that
Yeah,
together.
I mean,
We could
because
start building that
from
together.
for a past all the a couple of months I've been watching this, and it's like nobody talks about this. And if we just start doing that, people will actually our people will start taking us serious. Like, oh, they're really moving.
Exactly. We have
You
a
know what I'm saying?
fund. We
Honestly,
have
if you were
yes.
to show biracial people something, like if you were to put something and show, like if you put your money towards this, this is going to help you. I guarantee you, biracial people are going to put money in it. I
Yeah,
guarantee
and
you.
that's all it is. You know what I mean? Because let's be real, we all feel the same way. It just we're like, all right, bro, we ain't got nothing. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
Right. We
like
don't have shit, and it's like yeah.
like you hear
I'm
so
a,
many
I'm
biracial
a,
people saying, "I don't feel black enough. I don't feel white enough." Those same exact biracial people, if you were to show them, look at this, this is going to help you. They're going to put money in it.
And
there's a
also
lot of them out there.
one thing that Majid Mulata has brought up is like a dating website, and what we should do, we should have a membership fee. So every member pays $10, so our website can be upgraded. The only problem is we need to find a web
I
developer
don't think that would
first.
work because we don't really want to date each other.
Well, things have to change. Well, it's not about not wanting to date each other. I think that we're very spread out and we're not regional. So, like I said, we need a centralized location. I probably say that Texas is the best because, like I said, Governor Abbott, he doesn't care. He'll house groups that bring money. This is what he does. So I know that I'm repeating myself. You look at all these Indian and Asian communities. He builds some apartment complexes, give them grants, and then reduces their rent. And then he builds schools and their own businesses around them. But they have an agreement that they're going to bring money to the state of Texas. So it's all about what can we do to bring money to the state of Texas. So I say centralized in a state like Texas that is growing and rising up, that
Any
will give us
state,
these grants and provisions.
any state smart enough to make a biracial community for biracial Americans are going to flourish because we're going to work the hardest for our community.
That's what I'm saying. So I say
We're
Texas,
playing
we
catch
need.
up right now, like you said.
I say
Any
that
That's
city,
Texas.
a look.
any city town smart enough to make a community for us is going to reap economic benefits
I,
because
I
we're going to
really want
pay
us to
taxes. We're going
understand.
to work really hard in our community just to be around, just to do something we've never done before.
Yeah, and
And
okay, my bad. Now I was just say real quick, you know how that statistic about the black community bringing in $2 trillion a year. If you think about that, they still put us in that project mix people into the black community. So if you think about it, we actually bring in a lot of money, we're just not accounted for.
Facts. And
fact,
I really like the perspective that we're playing catch up. Like we gotta put some fire in our belly to get
but
ahead
we're
to
gonna
make
we're
sure
gonna catch up a lot faster than we think because we're very hungry. So we're so far
we're
behind that
hungry. Yeah, we
they're
want
relaxed and comfortable. It's like the tortoise in their hair. You know what I'm saying? The hair done took a break,
tortoise
and
in the
we're like,
hair.
we're still in the race. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, it's
Yep.
going to take a lot of brain power and a lot of research. We have to learn how the government works. For me, I know how small government works to a sense, but not big government. And that's something that I'll do as a teacher. I'll do my research. Right now, I'm working on a course that I have to teach one of my students. But yeah, I'm willing to do the research and put some skin in the game once it comes to educational structures and controlling the educational industry. And a strategy that I've been using, I've been reaching out to different people using Uber. So I drive Uber and I get the word out to other groups of people. I'm like, look, I'm a mulatto. These are our goals. This is what we can offer you, especially to Caucasians in Texas. They like that. So I'm like, look, we're a teacher. This is my method of teaching. We can bring some innovation because I'll give you an example of the way that I teach. I love teaching history, but it's very discussion based, and I use critical thinking instead of textbook, and I make my students research. So I want to develop my own educational system because I substitute for English, history, um, pre algebra, but I don't go to these classrooms to babysit. I actually bring in my own worksheets and make the kids do work because the schools now they don't do anything. They don't do anything. They just give them busy work. I'm giving you things to learn, and it can build up a reputation. They can say, "Oh, mulattoes actually do. They're actually good teachers," and our students are getting the results, and you have more people performing proficient for the state test. So that's what we're heading towards. So we're heading towards a lot of planning, a lot of conflicts. They'll be solved over time. There's many content creators that I don't like that mulatto, but I know that we're on code. It's like, look, I may not like you, I may not love you, but we have the same interests, and that's all we need to focus on. We don't have to love each other. We don't have to kiss each other. None of that. We have 5,000 people. I don't have time to know everybody's name, but like I said, we have all the same interests and we can live a better life. It's very beneficial for everybody.
Yeah, I don't mind putting on the suit and playing the part.
100%. I million percent agree. I think we should just get to work. I think just be very clear about what we want. I'm talking about on an individual level, like where we could start, and be very clear about the big picture as well, right? Like how what I could be doing could be beneficial to the whole community. And I think we should just really get clear on our goals on an individual level and as a group in a community. So I think that, yeah, I think this is a really good conversation. I want to keep having this conversation. Talk to me in the Discord, because we could get started on the GoFundMe or like the nonprofit. Like, I think me and
Yeah,
you should work on that together. I think we should work on that together.
yeah, I'm down. But another thing I would like is to reach out to every content creator who talks about this and bring them to the Discord. Have like a town hall meeting, and everybody would discuss about that. Then whoever wants to stay, stay. Whoever doesn't want to, just drop them.
So yeah, this is a very productive chat. Um, like you said, there are a lot of issues that we have to tackle. Eventually, we do have to meet in person, and whenever we meet in person, we have to talk about business and actually dress the part. I don't want to meet in person and we're dressing in shorts and t-shirts. I mean, suit and tie, business apparel with notebooks ready to get information and the laptop open. We need to think about business. We need to act as such, and we have to be professional. It may feel fake, I don't really care about that, but things have to get done for the better. So that's my thinking. We have to do homework. We have to get work done. We need to draft up plans and make connections. Like keep on getting the word out, even to non mulatto people. Like let's say white people, Asian people. You can say, "Look, we're mulattoes. These are our goals. We can network together. What are some opportunities that you want?" And let's create fair trade-offs. We can reach out to other groups. We can mingle. We're not our own breadbasket. We need other groups to help us to get where we need to go. So form these networks, form these connections, and have a good attitude, and most importantly, have a good work ethic.
100%. This has been very motivating for me. I think you put a lot of things in perspective about like building the framework and the structure and the order of how we could build things. I think that's very important. And I think it was a really good conversation. And I am so grateful for every one of you. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys. I'm gonna talk to
Let
you
me
in the
say one
Discord.
one last thing. Do y'all think we
Yeah, go
have?
ahead.
Do you think we already have the structure? We just need order.
No,
We
we have
don't
nothing.
know. I don't think we do. We're building the structure right now. Like it's like
Yeah,
in
nah, there's no structure at all, dog.
yeah, we're building the
But
structure. Like that's what we need. We need to build the structure, the order, the framework, the systems, and then we could use that to climb up, right? So
Well, we
yeah,
have, I'll be honest with you. If you're talking about structure, we don't have any structure because with structure, we're building it, right? Don't get me wrong. We're spreading the word,
But
we're
that's mean it's
communicating.
it's like we don't have the structure, but the structure like it's already set in stone. Like the structure
It's
is being built. It's
Well,
just
it's being discussed. I want to say being built right now because a structure. I think about large scale structure, right? So I'm
well,
thinking about like
I
committee.
see biracial people putting in the work though. Like they're getting on. Like they literally have changed their whole tune
Well,
about a lot of
well,
things.
okay. Well, YouTube does not translate to economic prosperity. We can be great YouTubers,
Well, that's
but
what I'm saying.
ev-
That's systems. I feel like the structure is
oh,
being built, but
oh,
we haven't got to the point where we have made systems and
well,
in order.
okay. So just let me finish with this. So YouTube, right? Things don't get done on YouTube. Things get done in real life. YouTube is great. There's a lot of great content creators. I'm a content creator myself. I have 100 subs. I want more subs. I'm reaching out, and I've been
I
doing a
know
lot of
I know
work.
things don't get done on YouTube. I feel like YouTube is the place where you give the instructions. This is where you
Well,
come and you tell biracial people this is what's what, and then they go do the work.
it's
well,
like
I
the
find
gate to entry or something like that. It's like
It's this is just the community. You need technology to. This is our technology to communicate. I mean,
hey,
how
bro,
can
well,
you
what's
how
your
can you
YouTube?
do?
so
You
this
dropping the
online
link in
community,
chat?
are more important
How
to us
can
because we're
you?
all scattered
How
all over
can
the
biracial
nation.
people do the work if there's nobody telling them to do it?
No, what I'm saying is YouTube is great to get awareness out, but the work is done during in-person meetings. Like because in-person meetings, I like them because they're more intimate. You gain a sense of trust. There's structure, and work can get done. I don't really like online meetings and Zoom. I'm not a person like
Yeah,
that. I
yeah, we
like
can do
meeting.
both. We can do both. There's biracial
Yeah,
people
like
that.
there's a time for everything. Like you said, if we can meet offline, I'm down for that. I'm in Texas, so we can like I said, we can start meeting up in Texas or whatever state. I don't have any problems traveling, but I want the meetings to be productive, and we have to think about economic figures, connections, networks, resources. So it's a whole entire science that we have to learn. I'm still learning myself. I'm into teaching, so I may be a teacher once I graduate college. I'm back in school. I'm a sub right now, but once I get my credentials, then I want to move up and become a principal and move up the system. I don't want to stay a teacher for 25 years. That's good and all, but I believe that I'm more capable of taking control of the education system. I'm more of an authoritarian. So we
Yeah.
need our own systems, let's say our own industries that we can control, but we need committees like at the athletic committee, the education committee, the culinary committee. So we need different committees, and then we need cabinets, and most importantly, we have to start buying politicians. So we have to pay politicians money to get what we want. That's what we have not covered, and we should have. We had to buy politicians and give them money. It doesn't matter if they're black, white. We need to buy them out because politicians are puppets. There are puppets. We have to boost them with money to get the policies that we want. That's how the game is played, and we have to play shrewd. We're playing to win, and we have to be on the offensive, not the defensive all the time. But yeah, other than that, I know I said a lot on. I want to make my final remark. You said I'm always down for good discussion. Most importantly, something conducive, and like I said, you can reach me after this video, and I'll give you my information.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. What? Can you drop your link to your YouTube so I can subscribe
um,
to you?
yeah, I'll do that right now. Just give me a
All right.
moment.
But
Let
yeah,
me
I mean, even
see.
on our own schools, you know, what I mean, it's about
Uh,
ownership. But like I said, it's about having an organization and a structure. You know what I'm saying? It don't have
because
to be
my YouTube
militant.
channel is more of like a Joe Rogan type of channels.
No,
Um,
I'm still
yeah,
I'm
just
here
give
to
me a
support.
second.
You know what I'm saying?
One thing
I be
about these
watching all
channels.
y'all.
Yeah, so one thing about the Malala networks, we need to diversify our channels. So like a lot of us talk about a lot of issues, but we can talk about cooking, vlogging, construction work. So we need to diversify the content that we create. And most importantly, one thing that we need to develop is like a super site. So you look at entertainment networks, and we can combine all our platforms into one super network, and we can have different sections. All of us win. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, we definitely need different types. Whatever your passion is as a human individual, whatever your passion is, you can turn that into to express yourself, express your identity as well. So
Yeah.
it don't matter what you're into. Like you said, you could be into cooking. You could be, you can express your identity into anything.
So
You know
just
what I'm
one
saying?
moment. I thought I was going to make a final remark. So she said we can't forget about the little people. So like say if you can't afford to travel, that's okay. We can do Zoom. But if you can afford to travel, I can afford to travel. Then I'm
You know
going to
what?
do
This
so.
is why I think we should connect with more biracial people. So if, for example, if I meet another biracial person from Texas, I could point them in your direction, so we could
Yeah, of
link each
course.
other. Like, oh, I know somebody I could recommend to you in your area who already has connections and resources, and you can link up with them.
And
So I think that
also we need
can.
like state representatives. So we need like what I was thinking too, right? I'm sorry to get on the roll. Like I thought it was done, but these ideas are popping in my head all of a sudden, which is a bad thing because we're wrapping things up. But so be it, right? We need different charters. So let's say there's 50 states, right? There's 50 states throughout the union. So we need different charters throughout different states. So we have like a home base. So with these charters, it's like a resource center. So we may have a charter in Dallas, in Houston, in San Antonio. We may have a charter in Los Angeles, California. So we need different charters and home bases to where our people can
Yeah, like the
resort to.
NCAAP, right? Like how they got
Yes.
different charters. Yeah.
So different charters, yes. So different state representatives, and with the state representatives, I don't know how they're going to be chosen. Like we can have an election system concerning charters, but with election systems, there's corruption. So, things like that will work itself over time. But we can have different charters of different states. I know Texas, we probably need about 4 charters because you have Austin, San Antonio, DFW area, and you have most importantly Houston, and then you have smaller states. Let's say even Wyoming, we may have a few mulattoes in Wyoming. We create charters to different states, and these charters, they're like safe havens. So if we're being discriminated against, if we need resources, if we need housing, if we need social programs, whatever we need, we can go to those charters, and the charters can help us in any situation. So he said
Yeah,
all
that's
these
the
things
vision.
require race
That's
status.
the
Yes, and
that's
that's
the
what you're
vision.
right. That's why I've been saying. That's why we need race status for these charters. Yes. Go on. My bad. Sorry, Jay. My bad.
No, I agree with you, but I think is that it though? Like, are we done?
Yeah, I think this is a good conversation. I'm gonna play this back. I kind of want to make clips and like share like the information. I think there was a lot of really good information that you shared, Jay Sharp, that's really important, and that we need to really just keep sharing the information with other biracial people so we
Oh,
can be
and
on
in
the
these
same page.
media platforms like TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube, we need like some policies for us because they keep banning us when we're just
And we can't talk
just
about
defending
anything.
ourselves. Yeah,
Yep,
like
yep.
we need to push for policies that help us. Like,
We do need that for
No,
sure.
make
Yes.
it private. Make it by invite. So
Yeah,
make the
that's the
make the
best way.
chat private and make it by invite. So if you're not one of us or you're not on the same page, you're not invited because I don't know why we're making public chats for private issues. Like we're talking about our own entire strategy to strangers. That's very dangerous and that's very stupid of us. So if we're going to talk about strategies, we're not talking about strategies today because we're on a YouTube
Yeah,
no,
live.
not
yeah,
We're
yeah.
talking
strategies.
about
It's
It's
better to do it on
like
Discord.
broad. I mean, like
yeah.
broad topics like opportunities in the workplace. I feel like that's a broad topic that everybody
Yes,
talks about.
but if we're talking about strategies or action, then yes, we're going to have to discuss that in private. And I'd even say that we have to resort to Zoom. But if we're talking about broad topics, that's fine. We can talk about on YouTube. But when we're talking about official documents and things that should not be shared, then we're going to have to do that in private and by membership only because I'm not going to let anyone view secret documents that belong to us. That's stupid.
Yeah, we gotta have some type
Yeah,
of
some things
inside
in private,
core
definitely. I agree. I
values,
think
but
some
yeah,
topics are good to have in are good to have in public because we need to connect with other biracial people and on public platforms, and so I think that's important. But we also need to know what to keep private. So yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, y'all. I think I'm gonna end the stream. But it was really good. I really enjoyed this conversation. I think it was really positive and productive. And yeah, I think YouTube. I lied. I am going to be on YouTube. I think YouTube is a good space because we just get so much pushback. We can't even really have the conversations we want to have on TikTok. But there is a larger audience over there. But I do think these conversations are really productive here on YouTube because there's nobody's sitting here trying to fight us over, So I appreciate every single one of you for coming on. I want to talk to you in the Discord, Mulatto King, and we can start it
Okay.
on our
Yeah.
plans and stuff for that.
Are we gonna
And
do that right now, or are we gonna do it?
yeah, we could do it right now. I'm not doing
All
anything
right,
else,
bet, bet,
but
bet.
yeah. All
all right,
right, Jay
y'all.
Sharp, I'm gonna
Peace
keep in
out.
contact with you. Thank you for jumping on. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
I appreciate your input.